Yeah, boy. This is the Surround Sound Podcast, baby. What's really good? I am R. Hunter Jr., the truth and not a rumor, and this is the Surround Sound Podcast. Thanks for joining us for this very special edition of the SSPC. On this show right here, we're going to chronicle the top 5 hip-hop acts out. We called it the Top 5 Alive during the first part of this year. And you know, hey, it's July, so I wanted to give you some, say some fireworks. I wanted to give you a middle of the year bang, you know what I mean? So right here, top 5 hip-hop acts. I'm going to tell you right now. Got Kendrick, got Drake, Miss Beyonce, J. Cole, and the homie Big Crit. I'm not going to tell you what order they're in, but those are the 5 right there. I don't think you can, you can't beat that right there. Anyway, if you can, hey, you let me know. But this is the criteria, though. Record sales, record play, mixtape downloads. So that's actual record sales, singles, ringtones, if people still doing that, I don't even know. Record play on actual terrestrial radio and mixtape downloads. Then there's talent. That's the number 2 thing. Whether you play the instruments, whether you make beats, whether you write your own songs, if you can sing at all, or even if you can rap. Number 3 is fan base. You got to have a fan base, you know what I mean? Do anybody even want to see you, hear you, whatever? Then you got longevity. How long have you been around? I think you're going to be surprised, but pleasantly surprised by what's going on right here. This is Surround Sound Podcast. I'll see y'all in an hour. Peace. Welcome back, Surround Sound Podcast. That was a double play by my guy, Kendrick Lamar. I have my Oakland A's hat on. You'll see why in just a second, why I have my Oakland A's hat on, West Coast representative, and why we had Kendrick Lamar up. He's part of the Top 5 Alive series that's going on from right now till about April 3rd. Anyway, first up in entertainment news, celebrity and sports birthdays, anniversaries, and or deaths. Fats Domino's would have been 89. Erykah Badu, ooh-wee, she is 46. She's awesome in more ways than one. Corinne Bailey Ray is 38. John Bon Jovi is 55. Robert Clay of Hogan's Heroes is 91. That's for my guy Troy over there. Singer Harry Belafonte would turn 90. James Worthy and Raymond Berry, both sports figures. Birthday would have been this week. Speaking of things that should be celebrated, Tracy Morgan, he's back, y'all. When I say he's back, I'm talking about he's back. Fist Fight opened up February the 17th. It's just good to see Tracy Morgan doing well. A couple of years ago, I want to say 18 months ago, he was in just a horrible accident on the New Jersey Turnpike, and he is back better than ever. And he made his first movie thing is in Fist Fight, Ice Cube joint. So that's going to be a good look. I heard good reviews about it. But on the flip side, bad reviews, or I won't say bad reviews, but few people are talking badly about it. And this is Get Out. It's been deemed racist. The film is called anti-white and racist by some viewers, although some critics have high praise for it. Now, if you don't know what Get Out is, it's comedian Jordan Peele's directorial debut. Yet some Rotten Tomatoes are slamming the satirical horror film for its so-called anti-white and racist portrayal of white characters. The discussion has generated a whopping 11 pages worth of comments from users. While the average audience rating is 4.5 stars out of 5, there are some people that feel it's just not that well. Now, I looked at a lot of people who denounced this. However, Kelly, and we'll put that in quotes, Kelly W., she's the only person that gave smart analytics of this movie. She gave the movie a 0.5 star, first of all. Maybe it's because I'm white, and I'm quoting her. Maybe because I'm white that I didn't like this movie. I really wanted to like it, but just couldn't get past the racial stereotypes and social messages. If he picked one genre, it would be a good movie. But mixing the white people or evil message and a horror movie into one film just killed the experience. And that is all of that was according to Mike.com. I'm going to give you my synopsis on it. and this is not on the movie, but on the thought process, more than likely that Jordan Peele had. Now, first of all, anytime there is any movie, or I won't even say just movie, any mention of white people behaving badly, it's always going to be an uproar. And the reason why is because we're at a point within the nation of the United States that, honestly, racism is highly hidden. More than that, you have to really be in a bad situation to not even have a chance. However, it's more prominent than you think of white America. It's purely from an African-American viewpoint here. Now, what I will say is, first of all, it's not racist because black people are not in a position to how should I say it? Control any other entity in America. Secondly, we can be prejudiced just like anybody can be prejudiced, and because the root word there is to prejudge. But I'll just say this. Just because some of these things don't feel good to you, Caucasian America, that doesn't mean that they're being in any way prejudiced or biased against you. I mean, Key and Peele came on air on Comedy Central for a couple of seasons and did really well. And I'm going to tell you right now, after Dave Chappelle left, a lot of black people left with it. I didn't even watch Key and Peele. And I love Comedy Central, ever since I was a young kid. So what I said that to say this, what was keeping that afloat was a lot of white viewers. But once again, just because a movie or a TV show or certain words don't feel right with you, maybe that's a good thing. I'll just leave it at that. Next up, speaking of movies, the Oscars. Big shouts out to Mahershala Ali, Viola Davis, and the movie Moonlight. They all picked up Oscar trophies. Now, I'm sure by now that you've heard of The Gaffe by Warren Beatty, and then the 50th anniversary of Bonnie and Clyde, no less. Apparently, they have two identical sets of cards on each side of the stage. And one had Moonlight as the movie of the year and Oscar winner, and the other had La La Land. Somebody messed up. Regardless, though, I don't know. Warren Beatty, old Dick Tracy looking self, it must not have been his fault. But I thought he was trying to read the monitor, the prompter, and that was a problem there. Anyway, it was just a whole lot of craziness going on, and the director of La La Land was highly upset. He snatched the card. He snatches the card out of Warren Beatty's hand. They're like, okay, that was just crazy. It was crazy. Thirdly, in entertainment, Remy Ma versus Nicki Minaj. Sheether just dropped, and it's a verbal assault on Nicki Minaj. Now, I told people about 2 years ago, when Nicki Minaj was winning BET Awards for Best Female MC with no competition, I said then, when Remy get out of jail, after Remy finishes her bid, it's going to be hell in the city. I said this. Nobody even they like, nah, man, Nicki, she's the queen. She's pink princess, this, that, and the third. I ain't say nothing, y'all. I was just quiet. Then Remy gets out. She's on Ebro's show, Hot 97. One time, Ebro, I hope you listen to it, Sheetha. If not, make sure you go to Surround Sound Podcast fan page on Facebook, and you'll be able to hear it. Anyway, Ebro had Papoose, which is Remy's husband, and Remy there, and Remy busted in the freestyle. I'm talking about just got nasty with it. I said again, I was like, hey, when it's going to hit the fan with her and Nicki. I just knew it was coming because both those young ladies are vying for the title of Best Female MC. Regardless, we are waiting on a response from Nicki Minaj. They gonna have to put that chick on the respirator. Gonna have to resuscitate her real quick because it's not looking good for her. But if she come back nice, like I know she can, it's gonna be a beef for the ages. Speaking of rap and hip hop, this is a new section that we'll have for the next 6, 7, 8 weeks called the Top 5 Alive. And it's the top 5 MCs of all hip hop. And when I say all of hip hop, it could be some rap, R&B. I mean, we're just gonna any of those entities can fall into the equation. Well, number 5 is Kendrick Lamar. He rolls with TDE and Aftermath. They're the imprints that he works with. And many people would ask, especially if you're a lover of Kendrick Lamar's work, they'll say, how did he come in at number 5? I'm so glad you asked. But first, the first time I heard dude was a 2011 BET Cypher. And he said these words. I'm talking about, this is when I took notice. Because directly after that, you had Swimming Pools came out. The whole Good Kid, Mad City album came out. It was Poetic Justice dropped. I mean, it was just dopeness came from the dude. And this is what he said. He said, what are your plans to win a Grammy? Sweet taste of victory like Oprah's Punani? After that, I was like, all right, this dude is nice right here. But this is where things decline a little bit for my guy, Mr. K-Dot. K-Dot, you have 4 quote-unquote studio albums. One that came before Good Kid, Mad City, when everybody really took notice of you. And that was Section 80. Then, like I said, the aforementioned Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Untitled Unmastered, which is basic. And Untitled Unmastered, I mean, we really shouldn't call it a studio album, but hey, he released it and people gobbled it up. And he has about a good 2 additional mixtapes and another EP. Really, Kendrick, in this day and time, that is not enough music. It is too easily accessible for people to go and get music. I don't know what's going on with you, brother, but hey, it is what it is. And I'll say this. I shouldn't have to search for your music, dude, at the end of the day. And now, maybe your strategy is less is more, and I can dig that. But as far as for K-Dot, he is my number 5 top 5 alive. Welcome back, Surround Sound Podcast. That double play that you just got through listening to was of my guy Drake. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be talking about him just a little bit more in the section Top 5 Alive inside this right here, the entertainment news section. First up, though, Oprah Winfrey running for president in 2020. Gayle King, her best friend, says not so much. She also went on to say, I was in the audience that day, and it was clearly a joke when she was playing with David because they have such a great rapport, said Winfrey's close pal and CBS This Morning co-host Gayle King. Early Thursday of a recent interview Oprah gave suggesting she was finally thinking of running for president. But I also heard on the Oprah Winfrey Show over the years, you always have the right to change your mind. But I would bet my first, my second, and any unborn children to come that ain't ever happening, King emphatically added. That was all courtesy of Deadline.com. I mean, I was really hoping that it was going to be her and possibly Michelle Obama. They're going to tag team that thing, but I guess not. Fantasia could not perform in Memphis. Why not? I told you guys earlier that I was going to tell you why she couldn't perform. I give you the scoop, man. According to TMZ, the When I See You songstress was sleeping on her tour bus when she knocked over an aromatherapy vaporizer that she uses for her vocal cords. And the hot water spilled onto her arm. Per the website, she is expected to make a full recovery and resume her tour with her gig at LA's Microsoft Theater on Wednesday, March 8th. I got to see Fantasia. Sorry, South Memphis, that you couldn't see her. You just live vicariously through me. And I told you about Drake. Well, this is the top 5 alive. This is where we counting down the dopest, the best MCs, hip-hop people of the day. Last week, it was my guy Kendrick Lamar, Mr. K-Dot. He came in 5 slot. And this week, it is my guy Drake. All right, let's think about this now. Drake rolls with OVO, Young Money. All right so far. The first time I heard of Dude was at the 2009 BET Awards. Jamie Foxx threw him a huge shout out, and that's when I took this native Canadian seriously. First song I want to say not the first song I ever heard, but the first song that pops out from that time era and from Drake is Successful with Trey Songz. And anytime you use the metaphor, I get the buzzer ringing like the pizza man, I'll take notice, and I officially put the stamp on you that you are indeed nice. Well, he has a couple of studio albums. Actually, has 4 studio albums. Thank Me Later that came out in 2010. Take Care that came out in 2011. Nothing Was the Same in the 2013. And this past year's Views from the 6. Now, I must say this. When it comes to free music and mixtapes, that's how Drake got his start. Let's just be real. That's where he made his most sizable imprint on the culture. 2 of his, I guess, latest mixtapes were If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, which came out in 2015, and What a Time to Be Alive, which he did with Future. That also came out in 2015. I mean, when it comes to fans, Drake is one of them dudes that like he just he has the masses. He knows the pulse of the masses. I'll just say it like that. He knows what his fans want, and he gives it to them in bunches. But this is my take on Drake. First of all, let it be known, he's freaking awesome. And he is the epitome of a hip-hop artist. He's not purely a rapper, although many music pundits try to put him in the rapper category. I was there until I heard the song Hotline Bling. The knock that I have on Drake is not that he sings too much, although that's what a lot of people say, but with deeper analysis, it's the subject matter of which he sings. Let's take, for example, Marvin's Room. Okay, Drake was definitely in his feelings, and that's nothing wrong with being in your feelings. You can be in your feelings, it's just what you do with those feelings. And he's the young lady that he's talking about is Malia, you know, the dancer, a very buxom dancer that he was known to have, you know, I guess a relationship with or whatnot. And he calls her and basically just saying, hey, don't go out with your boyfriend, come out with me. Okay, Drake, this is why people don't like you singing. And once again, it has nothing to do with how you sound. It has to do with the content of your singing. I don't know what I'm going to do with Drake. Basketball 101 is coming up next. Stay right here to the podcast. Welcome back to the Surround Sound Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, R. Hunter Jr., the truth and not a rumor. And we have a special guest. And we got a special guest sister also in the building. Mr. Bread versus Yoga in the building. Go ahead. You can turn it off, man.
Woo.
Tell me more about this hoopcast, bro. What makes your hoopcast different than, you know, everything else?
Oh yeah, let's get straight to the nitty gritty then. I think that it's a whole lot of basketball podcasts, and they handle the X's and O's really well, and they handle the nerd stuff, the analytics, the statistics, all of the PERs and the BPIs. Yeah. They handle all of that real well and everything. But yeah, I give you, you know, it got to be a but.
Yes, sir.
But, I probably just, I don't know who else is out there doing it, but I give it the way that it comes up whenever you talking in your living room, in your kitchen, at the workhouse, in the break room, whenever you talking that basketball stuff, I give it to you just like that.
Okay, I hate this phrase, the common man's podcast, but you just, you know what I'm saying, the down to earth joint, you know what I'm saying? If somebody playing slaw, then hey, you say they play slaw.
Yeah.
But and you give reasons behind it. It ain't just how you feel.
And if they playing well, I give reasons behind that as well.
I can dig that, man. We're gonna move to the entertainment section, my guy. Celebrity sports, birthdays, anniversaries, and deaths. As far as country western singers go, Tim McGraw, Winona Judd, Randy Travis, their birthdays are this week. So one time to country music. Next up, George Clooney. Everybody knows who George Clooney is.
That is the first person you've named who I could recognize in the store.
In the store? You can recognize George Clooney in the store?
Oh, absolutely.
I can dig
George
it.
George Clooney played Batman.
Okay.
How you going to not know Batman when you see Batman?
I can dig it. Next up, Sugar Ray Robinson, championship boxer, and Mr. 2-Minute Drill QB Johnny Unitas. While we're in sports, bread versus yoga.
Holla at me.
The MVP race. It's basically three dudes.
Is Johnny Unitas in it?
He's not. Not this go round.
What about Sugar Ray Robinson?
He was the MVP of boxing for a long time.
Shout out to both of them. They're both incredible, and I don't even mean no joking with that. Both of them were incredible.
Oh, yeah. We got three viable candidates, and a fourth that I'll mention in just a second. We got Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard. First up, just tell me what you think about each one, and then tell me who you feel should be the MVP.
Man, if you have ever listened to the Heezy Hoopcast, you know that I don't think that Russell Westbrook should be the MVP. And,
tell me why.
I think okay. I think he should be probably like the runner-up or something.
Okay.
Because the triple-double average on the season was impressive, but on one hand, it's like, okay, you got the triple-double and all of that, but all of your passing, your assists, your rebound, did it help you first round of the playoffs? I know people, he didn't have a team, but I mean, okay, so whatever. What do all the triple doubles mean? And then on the other hand, too, he takes like, I don't know, what I believe to be ill-advised shots.
He takes Kobe Bryant type shots when it comes to
except Kobe Bryant. I mean, Kobe Bryant has missed the most shots in NBA history. You got to throw that out there, but I still think he's a far better shooter than Russell Westbrook. Therefore, deserves the license to shoot more.
James Harden, Houston Rockets guard. What you think?
Very impressive. Think he's better than Russell Westbrook.
Okay. So that's number 2 right here.
Not deserving of the MVP.
Who?
I ain't gonna lie, though. I didn't watch nearly enough James Harden during the season to say whether or not he deserves MVP nod or whatever.
I mean, just from the numbers that you did see.
I'm going with Kawhi Leonard, though.
Okay,
that's
next.
The
Kawhi
next
Leonard. All right, and why?
Both ends of the floor.
Okay.
And I actually have seen his games and both ends of the floor. Oh my God. Like neither one of these guys, like on one hand, James Harden is on the other end, and I see him like people, Rockets fans in Houston get mad and they say that he has been playing defense. I still see this guy
James
just
Harden
lagging off.
Kawhi Leonard plays defense. He does play
Russell
the
Westbrook,
entire end of the floor. So I mean, Westbrook is a defender.
He's stat hunting on the other end of the floor. He's hunting them rebounds.
People say that, but I can't really. I mean, if the ball come off and it's in your hands, then that's what it is. I mean, also on top of that, if the coach has said, hey, we can get up the flow faster if you don't touch the ball and you just gonna let this dude take the ball and run up the court. Well, I mean, that's not stat hunting. That's good coaching.
But on the other hand, ain't it like, all right, you kind of begin looking for rebounds. You don't think he had this triple-double stuff in his mind the whole season to where, like, you begin to look for rebounds? And Kawhi, all I'm saying is Kawhi ain't necessarily looking for the rebound. He gets whatever he gets, but he's playing to win. He's playing to shut the other team down, and he's playing to dog the other team out on the offensive floor.
This is all I can say about these three. When it comes to who should be what, if they say Russ, if one was to say Russ is not a candidate because the losses are just too many, I get it. However, I couldn't say Harden because in game 3 or 4, in game 3 or 4 of the past series against the Thunder, he sucked. I'm talking about he scored like 10 points, 2 or 3 rebounds, 2 or 3 assists. But his team still won. So that would liken your thinking to say, okay, he has more pieces around him. Well, that's what makes me say Russ should be the MVP. Now, if you say nope, it got to be somebody that plays both ends of the floor and that team is winning, by all means, please put Kawhi Leonard in that top spot and give this dude the braided wonder, the MVP. I feel that.
Well, yeah, if you got three people and one of them is one guy that plays both ends tremendously, the next guy plays one end tremendously and plays no defense on the other end, and one guy, is just my player on 2K and everything. It's like, do you reward the stats or do you reward the effort?
I feel you, but Russ averaged out of 5 games, this dude averaged 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. Like, that is incredibly. That is. I don't even want to say that word, but it's ridiculous. I was thinking of another R word, but it is just ridiculous to have that average and your team still lose. Like it was one stat. Like, okay, I'm just. So
what does it all mean?
But I'm just going to throw this number out. Well, I can't remember the exact numbers, but this is kind of how it went. It was like when Russ is on the floor, they outscored Houston by, let's say, 10 points. When Russ is off the floor, they got beaten by like 16 points. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if for 82 games your offense has been Russell Westbrook.
That's because the team sucked. But it ain't because somebody was trying to put him in.
The team, like, he doesn't have the help that other teams have. I'll admit that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if your offense is Russell Westbrook, then
that's not going to be good for the other 5 players.
Because I can guarantee you the San Antonio Spurs, they made their offense in a sort of way Kawhi Leonard. And
I mean, he does have 2 other perennial All-Stars in Paul Gasol and Aldridge. So, I mean, it's not like – and Tony Parker. I forgot about Parker.
Yeah,
so he's nice.
Gasol and Parker was perennial once upon a time.
Okay, I get it.
Paul Gasol
who was ever perennial on the Thunder? Ever besides this dude? Besides Russell Westbrook? Ever. Or will be. Could be even.
Oladipo was in the dunk contest.
Okay. And moving on. We've been doing a series called the Top5Alive, which is the top 5 hip-hop acts that are out right now. We've been on a hiatus from it, of course, because of so many other things going on in the sports world.
But they brought it back for me.
And we brought it back for my man, Bread versus Yoga.
Woo!
Number 3, J. Cole.
Who's the number 5 and 4?
Number 5 was Drake, and number 4 was Kendrick Lamar. But this was before he came out with the super dope album that everybody was talking about.
Holy heck.
So, just tell me, just off the top of your head, what do you think about J. Cole? Your favorite, not your favorite, good, not good, whatever.
I don't want to fall asleep in front of everybody on my first podcast appearance.
Okay, I don't know exactly what that means, but
I mean, it means he makes.
You don't like him, I guess that's what that means.
It's sleepy time music.
You know what? I read something that said exactly that, and I told you I wasn't going to tell you what it said, but that's exactly what it said. It said if it's boring, makes me sleepy type music. I couldn't believe it. I can't even believe that you're saying it.
Okay, let me check this though. Right at the door. Okay, J. Cole got bars.
Okay.
He can rap.
This is true.
I'm not talking he trash. No, he da-da-da-da. I'm not here for that. I just say that
he's not number 3 in the top 5. He's not in your top 5 number.
Oh no, he's not in my top 25. But,
wow.
But I mean, I don't get.
I feel you though.
I don't get moved by it.
If you don't feel him, then you don't feel him.
I don't get moved by it.
I feel that. That's what's up. Let me tell you why I put him in the top 3.
Please do.
In the top 3.
He
rolls with Rock Nation and Dreamville. I dig that. First time I heard the dude, you were talking about bars. First time I heard this dude was Jay-Z's Blueprint 3, A Star Is Born. This was the line. The flow's cold as the shoulders of gold-digging hoes when a broke nigga approaches. I told you, I'm focused, man. I'll let you mother soak it in and clap for him. That was like the craziest thing I had ever heard, Bread vs. Yoga. But like you said, he got bars. Every album that he's put out, all of went platinum. And in 2014's Forest Hills Drive went
Jay-Z.
Double platinum. Yes, he is signed to Jay-Z. But Jay-Z, everything that Jay-Z touches is not gold.
Everything since Kanye that he touched and went platinum.
Okay, I will give you that one. My take on J. Cole. could very well be the top artist alive right now. It truly just depends on your flavor. He's Southern with an East Coast flow by his own admission on the Friday Night Lights mixtape. Most importantly, he's making his own imprint on hip-hop with his Dreamville label with artists like Boss, Kaz, and Omen. Grab your sleeves because best believe it, it'll be a cold world for a long time. Next up, J. Cole, Bun B for President featuring Dom Kennedy, Basketball 101. Welcome back to Surround Sound Podcast. I am your host, R. Hunter Jr., the truth and not a rumor, and we have a special guest, Miss Sherilyn Payton, the life coach, social activist, and reproductive rights advocate. Miss Payton.
Yes, sir.
The one mo usually comes from the political front, and most times it's solely from President Trump, the 50 Cent of politics, the bully, number 45 as we're calling him. But since this is the Mother's Day edition of our show, I would like to, I have a question, but before I ask this question, I have a couple of nuggets of information to let you know. In November, a young boxer, Amia Zafar, traveled from Minnesota to Florida to fight her first competitive bout. But before Zafar even had her gloves on, officials called off the fight. They told the 16-year-old she had to remove her hijab she wore or forfeit the match. She's a devout Muslim. Zafar refused, and her 15-year-old opponent was declared the victor. However, the organization appears to be shifting its policy, and last week it granted Zafar a religious exemption to compete wearing the hijab. Now, in addition to this, in March, Nike made a major move along the socio-political front. They announced the making of the female Muslim head covering hijab. Now, this is what I'm asking. Is this move by Nike and U.S. Boxing productive to the advancement of women?
Absolutely. And it's productive to the movement for reproductive justice because, again, reproductive justice is complete, comprehensive, all of this. So spiritual, political, social, all economic, anything that has to do with a woman's well-being and her human rights.
That's interesting.
So again, when we address these kinds of issues, we tackle the whole control, exploitation, and oppression of women. Okay. I applaud Nike, literally.
We hear you.
I'm like serious on that because the fact that they would acknowledge this woman's right
to cover her,
have religious freedom, in her sport. The same thing happened at the games.
Yeah. I thought this right here was a real big move by Nike, and when I later read the story on Ms. Zafar, I was like, the climate that we're in is really changing. These are thoughts that I've had for the last couple of years, but the climate is truly changing. We're going to look back on this time period and say, hey, we were in something and we did not even know it. We'll look at it maybe possibly how people looked at, the late 60s, early 70s, how that one time period of changed so much as far as the landscape of where we are now. But those are just my thoughts. We're going to go ahead and move on to celebrity entertainment news. I got to mention Mr. Padre himself, Tony Gwynn. We're remembering him in his passing. His birthday would have been actually this past Sunday on May 7th. Now, you were telling me, and getting ready for the show, Miss Payton, you were telling me about this rap battle in Georgia that was not just a rap battle. It turned out to be a little bit more, and actually a whole lot worse. Can you give me some details on that?
Yes. And so, one of the things that I do, I have these forums to educate the community around issues affecting Black women and Black families, just anything that has to do with our culture. Mm-hmm. And I found back in 2014, there was an article, and it talked about this rap battle with this young woman who went up against 3 young Black men. Mm-hmm. And she beat all 3 of them. Okay. And they came together, and after the battle was over, they kidnapped her, they gang raped her, sodomized her, set her on fire, and then shot her and left her for dead.
Wow.
All because she won the rap battle.
Wow.
Nothing more. There was no altercation. Nothing took place between them and her. Their fragile egos, I would assume, responded to, kind of like a how dare you one-up us, or how dare you, women are supposed to win. Not in this arena. Women aren't supposed to win. So with that, the question that I asked in the panel was, we want to protect one another, but we also have to talk about the very obvious mishandling of Black women when they're on top. Mm-hmm. When we're winning, just like with Serena having to hide her pregnancy, even in this situation, you don't know how people are going to respond to you winning or being a winner and then being a woman.
Right.
You just don't know.
That is incredible, and my heart goes out to that young lady and her family for having to endure that. Let me ask you this though: is hip hop just the backdrop for that situation? And the reason why is because Miley Cyrus said to the XXL how she's gonna distance herself from hip hop because of the people, because of, I guess, things that are going on. And the first thing that I thought was like, this could happen in country music, this could happen in rock and roll, it could happen in pop, anything. And I really, my heart went out for hip hop right there, because I'm like, this is an art form that I love. So what I'm asking you now is, could a situation like that happen in any walk of life? It definitely is, as far as America goes. Do you think that's possible?
Absolutely, and it happens every day. That has nothing to do with hip-hop culture. So here's the thing, RJ. As a coach, my focus is human behavior. This is a human behavior. It's not black. It's not white. It is a human behavior. We see in our society every day people lynching and burning and choking the life out of people.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
And it has nothing to do with the music or the environment in which the music thrives.
I definitely.
Hip-hop. I have some of my favorite rap artists. I love it all, and I love country. But this is not a phenomenon that is set specifically or attached specifically to hip hop. I do want to say that, or rap. It is not specific as far as a culture.
I love you so much for saying that and for standing up for hip hop music right there. And speaking of hip hop music, the Top 5 Alive. This is a segment that I've done since about mid-February, and because of everything that's been going on, I haven't had a chance to actually keep going with it. However, last week we uncovered number 3. Number 3 was J. Cole. Going back a couple of weeks, also number 4 was Drake, and number 5 was Kendrick Lamar. Well, this person here, it just happens to coincide with Mother's Day. American singer and songwriter Beyonce has released 6 studio albums, 4 live albums, 3 compilation albums, 5 EPs, 1 soundtrack, 1 mixtape, 2 karaoke albums, and 62 singles. 12 as a featured artist and 9 promotional singles and 5 charity singles. She has sold 100 million records as a solo artist and a further 60 million with Destiny's Child, making her one of the just best-selling music artists of all times. However, this is the reason why she's in the top 5, Miss Peyton. First time I heard her was with Destiny Child. One of my favorite songs was with her, T.I., and Lil Wayne. I love the Soldier song. It's just a dope song. However, when I heard Flawless, 7-Eleven, and most importantly, Partition, in my head, Beyonce went to that Michael Jackson stratosphere. But because now what she was doing, she wasn't just singing, she was rapping also. And you know what? People say, well, Jay-Z wrote the songs or this, that, and third. Who cares? And the reason why I say who cares is because Drake was accused of having someone write his song, that someone was writing songs for him also. And I honestly kind of believe it because on one particular song that was like 2 albums ago, I actually thought, I was like, okay, well, it must be cool for people to write songs now because he sounded just like The Weeknd. Regardless, it's not about him. All I'm saying is, when I heard this girl flow, when I heard this woman, this mother flow, I was like, oh, snap. And I'm talking about Partition is still like one of my favorite songs. But this is the reason why, like I said, why she's number 2. However, I want to hear from you. As a woman, how do you feel about Beyonce? And let me preface it with this. As I look at her catalog, I'm seeing it, you had the songs like Put a Ring on It, you had the Sasha Fierce joint. Then, she had songs like Partition, like, hey, it almost seems to chronicle her life, even until like Lemonade, where she's talking about maybe her husband was cheating. In all that she does, how do you feel about Beyonce?
Well, first of all, let me say that Beyonce is absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
She's brilliant as an artist. She's brilliant as a woman. She's brilliant as a person.
Mm-hmm.
There have been at no point, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this.
Go for it.
When people who come up kind of an against the odds kind of a situation or circumstance, she got to be the Illuminati, she got to be worshiping the devil. It's just so much so not a possibility that a black woman could just be this brilliant.
All right.
Or be this talented without selling her soul to the devil.
I completely understand. I see where you're coming from. You're right.
So much about our culture. Just again, about these three young men we just got to talk about setting this young lady on fire for winning. It was almost like they didn't even think that was a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Like we can't let that happen. Like it has to be something else.
We got to do something to damage this.
Mm-hmm.
And even with her pregnancy, again, this is the Mother's Day edition. So when she was pregnant with Blue Ivy, they were making such a fuss about her baby bump and how. My thing is this: whether I choose to go into labor, whether I choose to have a scheduled C-section to preserve my figure, or whatever her reason is as an artist, as a mother, that's her choice.
Yes, ma'am.
So if she wants to publicly accelerate her pregnancy and make her belly bigger, that's her choice.
Mm-hmm.
I am, again, reproductive justice falls in line with everything that's going on in a woman's body, in her family, in her choice. So, again, for me, Beyonce's brilliance supersedes any of the issues that people would have around her being a mother. But I'm going to tell you something. As a mother, motherhood is inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
You have a baby, you become more brilliant because watching them move through the world and then having an experience where you got these little people looking at you for everything that they need in the world. I'm alive today because I have children.
That's an amazing statement right there. You are alive today because you have children.
That's it.
And Troy is over here. Troy is over here amening you. I just want you to know that.
I'm alive today because I had a seed in my womb that I knew I had to care for, and it changed. It shifted my paradigm. It changed my life, my goals, my focus, everything.
That is absolutely amazing. We'll be back with more with Cheryl and Peyton on the Surround Sound Podcast. Welcome back, Surround Sound Podcast. I am R100 Jr., the truth and not a rumor, and this is the entertainment section of the show. That's right. First up, celebrity and sports birthdays, anniversaries, and deaths. I've already mentioned Prodigy of Mobb Deep. Our hearts and minds go out to his family on his passing on today. If you're not familiar really with Prodigy's story, he suffered from sickle cell anemia basically since birth. However, it's not known as of right now, as of this record date and time, if that is what triggered his eventual passing. He was the latest word out is he was at a hospital in Las Vegas after a show where his bodyguards, his handlers, saw him that he was not able to. He wasn't quite right. He wasn't able to keep up. So they took him to the hospital, and it's kind of strange because I've heard a few things. I won't discuss them right now because nothing has been solidified. But once again, we're thinking about Prodigy of Mobb Deep. Birthdays: Terrell Pryor turns a year older. Darren Sproles also. Kendrick Lamar of the West Coast. You know Kendrick. Actually, he was number 5 on my top 5 of 5. That'll be coming up in just a second. And even the homie Tupac turned 46 this past year. And this is where I will pause for a second. The Tupac biopic, All Eyes on Me, came out this past weekend. Now, I have absolutely heard only one positive thing on this movie. And that person said, it's okay. On top of that, Jada Pinkett Smith which is Tupac's longtime friend, said she didn't agree with the movie. On top of that, the estate of Tupac Shakur did not sign off on the movie. Afeni Shakur passed away last year. Now, from everything that I've read, she was supposed to be an executive producer on this movie. She passes away, and now the estate of Tupac Shakur does not want her name in the credits. That tells you a lot right there. Then I'm hearing people say that the movie doesn't talk about Tupac's ethic when it came to recording music. That's like not talking about Elvis's costumes. That's like not talking about Frank Sinatra. I don't know, not talking about Frank Sinatra, presence on stage where he's drinking the glass of brandy and smoking a cigarette. That's Tupac's essence. Those things are those gentlemen's essence. To not talk about how much music he recorded when he came out of jail and even before, that is a huge disservice. But I tell people all the time, if I live through it, I don't go see the movie. So I didn't go see Notorious, and I will not be going to see All Eyes on Me. Now, I did go and see Straight Outta Compton. Why, Ruben? Why did you go to see Straight Outta Compton, RJ? Because you lived through that. I know I lived through it. However, I wasn't, I was 8 when NWA was really, really hot and Eazy was hot. I'm 8. I'm watching cartoons, baby. I ain't worried about what's going on in California. There's a such thing as California at 8, So I had to watch Straight Outta Compton just from a historical context and perspective. Plus, those gentlemen, except for one, are still alive. They had hands in that. However, this right here with Afeni Shakur passing away and Tupac, of course, dying in 1996, I just don't see where this movie can really live up to its billing. Speaking of rap music, Top 5 Alive. I've been trying to end this this segment for we've been doing this for about 3 months. And we're finally to the last person. Number 1. At number 1, without further ado, is Big Crit. And as I have detailed, I tell you who these people roll with as far as their label. When was the first time I heard them? The albums they got out, and what makes them in whatever place that they're in. Now, many of you may not know about Big Crit. However, this is why I'm here once again. This gentleman, when it comes to a solid fan base, and that is large, Big Crit has it. However, Big Crit does not have I won't say he doesn't have the commercial success. However, he doesn't have the radio play. You may not see his video on MTV Jams or certain video outlets. However, when he puts out music and do people consume it people consume it at a rapid rate, he's winning. He's winning big time. So, who does he roll with? He rolls with himself. Not signed to a major label, although he has worked with Def Jam for a while. However, all Crit's major success, like I just said, is via himself and mixtape. First time I heard Dude was Country-ish featuring Bun B and Ludacris. As far as his albums, he has he works. He has a definite catalog of music. And for me, or I won't even say for me, as many people to not have heard of him, I'm going to tell you right now what he reminds me of. When you first hear this guy, you're going to think, wow, he sounds like Pimp C. However, as you listen more and more, you'll see his influences. He sounds like Pimp C, sounds like Bun B, he sounds like 8 Ball, he sounds like MJG, he sounds like Outkast, Big Boy, and Andre 3000. This dude's, he's it's incredible. his I'm talking about from his words play to his diction to his flow. I always say that if I would have rapped, I would have probably rapped just like him. I mean, he's past he's past rapping about drugs, but he gives you, I mean, just the best view of Southern life when it comes in the rap form. And as far as albums that I'll co-sign for, Crit was here. 1. It's Better This Way 2, and 12 for 12. Like, you need to listen to those 3, and then you can get into some other things like Return of Forever, Live from the Underground, King Remembered in Time, and other things. But finally, my take on Crit. It's funny how music gets around. I remember 2 people telling me about this new artist out of Mississippi. I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't really dismissive, guys, but, I wasn't inclined to check him out either. I was like, hey, whenever it happens, that's when it'll happen. When I finally did, I was absolutely blown away. Once again, he's the perfect combination of so many of the South's greatest rappers, plus he puts his own Mississippi twist into his music. Congrats to Big Crit on being the Surround Sound Podcast 2017 Top 5 Alive #1. We're going to get into this double play, baby. Big Crit style. Yeah. Basketball 101 coming up in a minute.